would be the bin has started to crease along the sides, which means that the sides are starting to crimp. It is an older bin, so with older bins, this does become a tendency, especially if they're filled. The bin was loaded full, so it hadn't collapsed, but there's a pretty good crease all the way around it. So Travis was just on the phone looking for a truck so we could unload it as fast as we could. And right now we're loading this wagon up. Dad said about the only thing that we can do with the ones on the wagons is to throw them up the harvester. So I'm topping this off. I'm gonna run out and shut the bin off. But yeah, it's bending pretty good. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. Dad looked out the window and saw the crease above the door. Starting to collapse towards the small bin and the big bin back towards the fuel tank. So if it collapsed on these, it would create a huge problem. You can see that the bottom piece of tin is starting to get squished and it's starting to push up and outward. The tar is separated from the bottom piece of tin now. Moving the combine because we don't know if it's going to tip this way and take out the small bin with it if it does go, but I know that it is getting worse, and right now it looks like it's going towards it's crunching on the far side towards the corn crib, but I'm going to move the combine just to be safe. After looking at this bin for all this time, you really know when something's starting to go wrong with it because it just doesn't look right sitting there. You may not think it when you see it in camera, but the top of the bin is certainly not level. It is definitely leaning south, which from where I'm sitting is away from me. And it just looks off. I mean, that thing's been there all my life, so, but you can tell that it's starting to lean. So in my previous video, I noticed that only about 1 or 2 people had guessed right, and that is that the bin had started to collapse. Now, thankfully, when Dad woke up, he looked out the window and he saw the crease above the door, and he came out, looked at the back side of the bin, and realized that it was collapsing, so we started unloading it immediately. And luckily we had been able to stop it from completely collapsing. So what we had been left with, the choices were after this had happened, were what we were going to do with the bin after. We weren't sure whether we were going to try to replace the tin on the lower half of the bin and try to save the upper pieces. But last summer, when the bin was empty, we had actually gone into the bin and we could see little holes on some side, actually the far side of the bin. So we had known that the tin was starting to get pretty thin over time. It just, with all the corn that's loaded in and out of it, and over time it can really wear away the thickness of the tin, and it really has an effect on the strength. So this bin was built in the 70s, I believe, and it's definitely showing its age. If any of the bins that we have now between these three that we would want it to happen to, this would have been the one, mostly just because, you know, it is older. This one, it is smaller, but I mean, it is newer, and to have something happen to that, I'm not totally sure that we'd put up a bin of that size right there. We'd probably go even bigger. So what we've decided to do, we're not really quite sure yet what we're going to do with the bin itself. We had considered replacing certain sheets of tin on it to try to rebuild it, but I think we just decided to build another 20,000 bushel bin right on the other side of the new 20,000 bushel seal bin right here. So we had put in a few bids, or asked a couple people that build bins to put in a couple bids, and the winner, I believe, was the Souk Up, and that is what this bin right here is. So we're gonna have a bin this size right south of this bin, and hopefully we can get the concrete poured by the farm day. So hopefully by the farm day this year we should have a concrete pad out here. You guys can, those of you who are coming to the farm day, can see where the bin is going to be at and what it kind of feels like, how far away it's going to be and everything in person, just kind of get a feel for it. But I don't think that it's going to get set up until probably mid to late summer, and that's just for how busy the contractors are to build the bins. So with that, we're not totally sure what we're going to do with this bin. I think we did get an offer or something on the metal for it, or we might just say screw it and have West End come down and tear it down for us, and they'd probably get scrap for the tin. So not totally sure. We'll see what happens. It'd actually be pretty cool to like repurpose this thing for like a little, maybe use this like we use the garage at the farm day. But I don't know, we'll see what happens to it. The bin still has corn in it right now, but we're not gonna fill it up ever again. It definitely won't ever be full again. So with that, I'll let you guys go. This was a little crisis that we had for a day, and we've been trying to figure out what we're going to do about it, and we just got the paperwork all done, and it sounds like the new bin over here is going to be a sure thing. So anyway, I just wanted to let you guys in on what had happened around here and what's going on, what we're planning on this year. A lot of people have been asking, you know, what your big purchases are for this year. I'm not planning on making any big purchases. And Dad, I know that, and I've been saying, if there is anything to invest in right now with the way the prices have been, it's definitely in a bin. So we don't want to see our storage capabilities go down at all. So with that, I know I have caught a bit of a cold, if you can't hear that, so sorry. Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.